Quest presents an unabridged recording of The Lionheart Curse by Jack Gatland, narrated by Colin Mace. Chapter 1. Meantime. As Professor Richard Evans walked out of Cutty Sark Docklands light railway station, he knew for a fact that someone dangerous was following him. Turning right, eyes set directly in front as he walked towards Greenwich Church Street, Richard tried to look back at the man through the windows of the shops to his left, catching glimpses as he did so. A shaven-headed brute, over 6 feet tall, in a black bomber jacket with dark blue jeans over what looked like army boots and a telltale bulge under the jacket, maybe caused by a gun hanging there, if you believed movies. Richard looked towards the open plaza that surrounded the 100-year-old tea-clipper known as the Cutty Sark, wondering whether he should make a run for it, but he knew if he did, then the man would easily catch him. Or worse. He'd known there was a ghost following him since he'd left Fleet Street earlier that day, but to be honest, Richard had hoped to lose them when he entered the maze of pedestrian tunnels that connected into Bank Underground Station. However, as he arrived at West India Quay, Richard knew he'd failed. He didn't know for sure why the man was following him, but he had a good idea. He'd been with him since Temple Inn, one of the 4 Inns of Court in London, and so it was probably connected with the meeting Richard had just finished, one that necessitated an immediate visit to one of London's Hawksmoor churches. A visit that simply couldn't happen if he was being followed. Richard slowed as he passed the entrance to Greenwich Market, a portico of pale brown pillars that flanked a cobbled pedestrian pathway. Taking a deep breath, Richard prepared himself. He wasn't unfit, but the years in academia hadn't been kind, and his 67-year-old frame was as flabby, weak and prone to mild asthma as the next professor. Richard knew he wouldn't be able to outrun this man. The boots alone meant his shadow was probably ex-army and therefore far fitter than Richard could ever be. No, Richard had to outthink the man, to get some distance, even for a few moments, to do what he needed to do, before they eventually caught him. As the bald-headed man took a call on his phone, briefly looking away from his quarry, Richard used this to his advantage, slipping quickly through the entrance of the recently refurbished Admiral Hardy pub, walking through the main bar and exiting out the back entrance into the busy thoroughfare of Greenwich Market, desperate to put some distance between him and his pursuer. The market was a natural plaza built within the surrounding buildings, a modern, metal-framed glass roof that let in the natural light of the day shining onto the stalls that rented.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?